Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ask Us Anything About LinkedIn. My name is Juliana. Together with me are Dari and Emo. Welcome, guys.
Hi, hi.
This is
Hello.
the first episode for the year of our LinkedIn Live format where you can ask your questions, anything you want to know about the professional network. And we are here to give the answers based on our extended experience in the field. So feel free to ask your questions in the comments. And meanwhile, we're going to tackle a few topics. We're going to speak about the way B2B brands speak on LinkedIn, how to do it in 2026. Then we're going to see what are the predictions and the tips we can give you for 2026 again. And we're going to leave you with some thoughts about our favorite ad format on LinkedIn, Thought Leader Ads. So let's dive in this live, starting with Emo. Hi, Emo. How are you?
Hi
First,
there. It's have been a great winter season so far. The temperatures in Bulgaria are um, drastically changing every single day. The other day it was like 10 Celsius degrees. Now it's like minus 14, or at least it feels like minus 14. So can't really say that I'm happy with the weather forecast, but it has been great. The work has been going, no matter the weather circumstances. So yeah, can't can't blame anything or anyone.
only 1 week in the new year, and we are in full speed, I think.
Yeah, actually, with some new clients, with some new partners, with some new projects that are upcoming. So it has been definitely an interesting first week, like interesting 5 days. Um, so, uh, by the way, speaking about new clients and new um, projects, it's a great transition to my topic that I'm going to speak about because considering that our service is B2B. Content creation, LinkedIn page management, and um, learning and teaching B2B teams how to be more active and more present on the platform. The topic that I have chosen today to briefly discuss is why B2B brands still write like fax machines on LinkedIn and how to actually fix it, or also known as why B2B brands tend to forget how to humanize their content, and why is this happening and how we can eventually change that in the course of the action. By the way, every single topic we're discussing so far is um, explained in details in the link blog, the place where you can find all the latest news, all the latest tips and tricks about LinkedIn. You should be able to find it under the comment section right uh, in a few seconds, probably. So yeah, if I have to briefly just dive into the topic, and then I will be glad to discuss it with the girls. I'm seeing something every single day, and it's harmful to the brands, to the users of LinkedIn, because at some point even it gets a bit funny how phrases like end-to-end solutions, leveraging synergies, driving scalable outcomes are appearing in almost every single piece of content that we are consuming on the platform. And it starts to to be really, really, really meaningless why brands are communicating like this, as their goal probably on LinkedIn is either to build brand image, brand reputation, or to find any sales, and this way they're not really speaking to humans, they're speaking to robots. And to further clarify more about the topic, I have highlighted several stats in the article, probably that is already in the comment section. 71% of B2B decision makers say that less than half of the content they consume is actually useful, which is this data is from Gartner, from the B2B report for LinkedIn and Edelman, which is really interesting because according to this study, only 29% of the content that is produced on the platform is found useful, which is really quite interesting. Another stats from the same report shows that only 5 to 10% of B2B buyers can recall a specific brand after engaging with content. Um, Here probably it's great to clarify what B2B buyer is. Every single company has a decision maker, and in this content, B2B buyer is the person who is having the decision whether to work with a company or not to work with a company. And the fact that only 5 to 10% of the content is recalled in the human perception and in the human mind is pretty much self-explanatory. And the last thing that I want to highlight is that um, Google's research from 2025 showed that a single purchasing behavior from the very start to the very end consists of, on the average, of 27 information touch points before committing to decision. Those are 27 points of contact or points of touch with the brand before having any decision to buy from it, to purchase something, to even message the brand for some more information. So yeah, it's really strange why um, the path in which we are having the decision is so long, and we are uh, on top of that we are making it even longer with the static communication, with the kind of rough language we are using on the platform. Dari, I'm curious about your intake here as a person who is maintaining quite a few different pages on the platform with different field of development. What do you think about the overall language on the platform? Do you find it humanized, or you rather find it robotic and AI probably generated?
uh it's 2026 and it's been 2 years and the word AI comes up in almost each and every one of our lives. That's what I like to start off on. The AI hype is real, people. You can hear it. But back to Emma's question, it's a very good one. And I think mostly it depends. It depends not so much, I would say, on the industry, though partially it is a factor, but it depends on how brave people are in terms of their communication style, in terms of what they want to show. Sadly, I mean, there is a reason why Emma wrote this article and why we really, really urge you to read it, because it's a relevant topic. And in the end, I would say there are way more people, there are way more brands that do talk in a robotic manner. I think it's actually veering off a little bit. It's currently split up. I would say company pages do tend to be, for B2B brands, they tend to be more on the robotic side. We have seen personal profiles sort of being more active, which is great. And they don't sound robotic in the same way, but wink wink, they do sound AI generated. AI is very easy to spot when it's trying to sound human. It's just copying off a lot of the times a bunch of content creators that were very famous with their very short sentences, like a sentence per line. We've also discussed this, but the moment you see it, it's also for personal profiles, like, yeah, you're sounding robotic, just in a different way. So it's currently a very fine line to walk. More and more people are trying to break away with the use of AI from sounding robotic, but it's just making them sound robotic in a different sort of manner, I would say.
Actually, two of the reasons that I have highlighted in the article itself is that the first one is that many people in the big B2B companies are involved in the content creation, from approving to creating to posting and so on and so forth. We know it from our personal work that sometimes a single post can go through 10 people before actually going to the publish button on the platform. So this is one of the reasons. And the second one is that there can be some internal politics that needs to be taken into consideration, and sometimes different sayings like humanizing the content can result in criticism and accountability in terms of the company. So this is another reason. I'm urging anyone who is listening right now to write in the comment section, which one do you prefer, more strict and more corporate tone of voice, or more humanized in terms of the B2B brands on the platform? You can leave your opinion in the comment section on LinkedIn, on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, whatever, and whenever you are listening. So yeah, Didi, what is your opinion? And I think that this is a great opportunity to switch to your topic currently.
Yeah, but first I definitely like to mention something on your topic, because usually when we speak about what LinkedIn is full of, we assume that LinkedIn is a homogenic thing, that in which a platform in which everybody sees the same thing, and actually that's just not possible. Everybody sees what their feed is showing them, and how is that formed? It's based on who you prefer and choose to follow. So when I hear somebody say, everything I see on LinkedIn is full of blah, 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 and I say to myself, well, I don't see any one of this piece of content. That's because I don't follow such people, for example. But our um, nature of work is to follow a lot of different professionals and companies due to the different industries we operate in, helping our partners. That's why our view of the platform is much broader. And answering your question, Samuel, yes, I do think that companies still use robotic language, and that shows me that they don't use the help of professionals, because if you are a real professional, you would know what works. And usually the human side is visible when there are minor mistakes, because that's the human nature. We do mistakes where AI doesn't. So the difference is there. And as you said, this is something close to what I'm going to speak today, and it's related to my article in the linked book. It's about how to use the network effectively in 2026. The platform is changing, that's for sure, but probably not in the way that many professionals think. Yes, there are new features, there are new AI tools, and they do matter, but the platform is changing in a qualitative matter. It is changing in the way that people are leading conversations, the way they engage with comments, and actually the shift is mostly human-like. So the three things that I would suggest you pay attention in 2026 on LinkedIn are the following. First, as Emo said, be authentic. This means that when you create content, don't try to be perfect like AI, even if you're not using AI. Sometimes we put so much effort, so much time in a post, and so that it is totally perfect. And in the process of doing this, we lose our personal touch. So please don't do that. And this is relevant both to personal profiles and to companies, because again, as the previous topic suggested, people trust people, and even companies build on the people who work in it. The second thing is the engagement you drive, which is again related to the first point. LinkedIn showed, and I'm going to share now part of my article on the link book, which is full of details, and I would strongly suggest that you read it because there is gathered research there from LinkedIn, from external data. And my second suggestion is related to the content teams that drive engagement. So we see that if your content stands out and you position yourself as a trusted expert, showing authenticity on the network, it will be one that catches the attention of your audience. You say that there are a lot of other suggestions here. I would only mention one more, and it is related to the consistency in posting. It definitely beats frequency. Sometimes people are think that if they post, if they self-discipline themselves and they post absolutely every day or every other day, doesn't matter, that would guarantee them success. And data shows that that's not the truth. Consistency, meaning that you pay attention to quality and not over posting, but still you don't disappear from the network, is what is important. Larry, again, to you. Do you have an advice for our audience for 2026? And I would also encourage our listeners to say what they would recommend or they plan to do in 2026.
I'm also throwing it back to the listeners in terms of, yes, think about that, and also maybe think about your main goal on LinkedIn, because that's my number one advice. Yes, it's great to be consistent. Yes, it's great to think about all of the, I would say, different topics that you want to discuss, whether you want to focus on one, whether you want to discuss more, but do it with, yeah, a clear mindset, with a clear goal for 2026. What do you want to achieve from LinkedIn? Do you want to maybe just expand your network? Do you want to be recognized as a thought leader in a certain field? Or do you actually want to, drive business to your brand, drive business to your product or to your company? There are tons of things you can do. So I would say start off with that. Don't just post content mindlessly without really knowing what you're after. So that's why, I'd also like to ask you, anyone who's listening in, do you have a main goal for your presence in 2026? Is LinkedIn even among, your personal goals? Because yeah, it's the beginning of the new year. Everyone's talking about what they want to achieve. We're on LinkedIn, but maybe your goals aren't connected to the platform. And if they're not, why? As LinkedIn experts, we are definitely asking why, because your goals should definitely have a little bit of LinkedIn in them as well.
Thanks, Larry. Emma, what's your New Year LinkedIn resolution?
Actually, something that I'm seeing on the platform is that the recent and the massive changes in the platform's way of communicating, in terms of the impression drops, um, the amount of people that are currently seeing your post, meaning the reach of your post, has been a topic that is widely discussed among the users. They're, I would say, devastated by the drastic changes that are happening. And for example, if a post recently, uh, previously, pardon me, has received like 10,000 impressions easily, now 3 to 4,000 impressions seems like a hardly achievable goal and actual task. So my personal goal for this year is to make and to try to teach more people that not the impressions and the reach are the most important thing, but the valuable conversations, the comments, the people who are viewing your profile, who are searching yourself on the network, those are the most important parts of the platform. And that if, for example, in the last 365 days you have received 2 million impressions and it was a massive hit for you, now you have received just a bit under 1 million. That's not a 50% decrease, that's 50% probably more relevant people who have reached your content, and not a problem but an opportunity to be more to speak in front of the right audience, I would say. So yeah, this is my personal goal for this year, to make and to study more people how to teach more people how to be more present and more active on LinkedIn despite those changes that are going on.
Great. And sometimes we need advertising as an addition to the organic content, especially when we speak about the companies we help. But as I mentioned previously, people trust people, so companies cannot thrive if they don't rely on their teams. And luckily, there is a way to support this in terms of ad content. And Dari, I know that you're going to speak about thought leader ads. I'm very curious, what are the insights there, the newest things, and maybe things to have in mind in this new year.
Yes, that was a very, very fluid transition to my topic. Didi already, teased you guys, and I don't think, I'll surprise you by saying what I will be mainly, uh, you know, be dedicating myself to. Promoting is the same thing both Didi and Emo were saying. What matters is authenticity. What matters is just not showing up with that robotic image, with the same sort of very corporate, very distilled, very perfect like looks in terms of your ads as well. And that's why, LinkedIn launched such a format as a fault, fault leadership, fault leader apps, ads. I'm sorry. I was just also trying to check on the chat. And before I actually dive into the topic, I'm going to go through the question that we have. Because the one thing that caught my attention immediately is like paragraph 22, an amazing book. I recommend you read it. But we got a question, we are kind of stuck in a paragraph 22. You need to post something controversial to go viral, reach more people. But having a good conversation sometimes requires you speak about boring stuff. In my case, branding. So later on, I'm going to give the stage to Emma and Didi as well. But what I think is, and what Emma was saying is, rely more on those good conversations, because rather than going viral, rather than reaching millions and thousands of people, you just want to reach the right people. And the right people will follow you and will talk to you about the boring stuff, because that to them is not necessarily boring stuff. It's stuff that they're interested in or stuff that they want to learn more about. Yes, sure, maybe posting about 22 lessons I learned, or like 22 mistakes, or sort of very more shouty, more personalized, not necessarily controversial, but those are the type of posts that sometimes go viral, a bit more surface level posts rather than expert posts. Yes, they will give you tons of engagement, but a like, and then it won't lead to something that you are after. In that case, the good conversation. And yeah, I don't know whether Didi and Emo have something more different to say about it, but yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call it paragraph 22. Like, the right people will find you if you're consistent enough with talking about the boring stuff that isn't boring to them.
Emo.
there
That's
was a
fine,
there
everyone.
was a bit of a awkward silence for just a couple of seconds for the listeners on Spotify, because we were trying to make some eye contact over there. Uh, uh, yeah, I just read the comment several more times because I wanted to really comprehend it,
Mhm.
um, literally what Ivana tried to mention. And I actually tried to respond in the LinkedIn as well. It's not a matter of controversy; it's a matter of building the right audience. When you build the right audience, there always will be people who are going to um, to support you, to read more content from you, to be present for you, no matter how you start your post, no matter how you begin every single conversation you're doing. It doesn't need to go abrupt in sayings like I'm going to end my career in 2025 because of three things that I haven't achieved in 2024 or something like this. You just can express your opinions, and actually expressing your pure honesty and authenticity in terms of the humanization of the content sometimes can be more profitable than those abrupt, as I said, uh, controversial sayings that now the majority of people on the platform are doing. And actually, something really interesting: the fact that more and more people are starting their hooks and their publications with something a bit more dramatic, a bit more out of the box, is tending to make the viewers and the users on LinkedIn more strict in terms of what they're reading and who do they support. I From my personal conversations with people, I'm seeing that those type of publications are not really the best publications that are performing for some of the people right now, but other are way better. And just one last thing in terms of what Dari tried to mention about the advertising on LinkedIn and the thought leaders. We have been using thought leader ads with one client of ours in the past. It was a success, I would say, in terms of the thought leadership. Just one more time, probably. Thought leadership is when a single person on the platform publishes a piece of content, and the company he works for promotes this content. It's promoted from the company, but it appears from the personal profile of the person. This is usually done for event coverages, for upcoming conferences, for some big fairs, and so on and so forth, in order to drive more traffic, to share some valuable insights, so you can strengthen and bond the connection between the people you're going to see and the representatives from the company. You just need to know that you shouldn't publish thought leaders if you don't have actually a strong presence, I would say. You don't need to have strong network and strong follower base, and yeah, just strong presence in terms of the who you are as a professional and why people need to support you. What I'm trying to say: if you are not really someone, I would say, important from the company who will be representing the company at the fair, at the event, probably publishing a thought leader won't be that useful and won't be that successful if you're just standing and at the stand. If you're actually going to the stage for a lecture, going to different stands at the fair, different booths, then there is a meaning actually behind your action of publishing a thought leader. At Didi, probably you have published yourself a thought leader, or I'm not quite sure.
I've done it for a partner, and yes, it's definitely meaningful to promote content of somebody who has meaningful presence, even if their profile is not so strong. If they have a post who is really good and in line with the company's messages and the current campaign or event, it definitely makes sense to use that format. Um, but I would go to Dari again because maybe she had some details, and I would also want to share on the screen her.
Yeah, I kind of got distracted by the questions, so that's true. Also, I did see a reply as well, but I'm gonna first finish up my topic, and then I will go back and address the reply as well because it's a very good conversation, and I think it's gonna be a great way on us to end the live discussing that. But basically, Emil did go over a lot of the basics with you guys. So, thought leader ads, basically, it is sponsored content. You're sponsoring it from campaign manager, the usual way you're doing it from a company page, but you are sponsoring a person that has talked about your company, that has talked about your product. So you're sponsoring their organic post to make it reach more people. The interesting thing is, we can definitely see this is a format that works simply because it went live, I think, sometime around 2023. And then the only posts you could sort of launch as thought leader ads were posts from your own employees or people connected with the company. So the format itself, it has went over a lot of updates over the years, and the updates themselves just include more and more and more, which just speaks to how good of a format it is. So right now you can also sponsor posts that are from clients that are simply talking about your company, talking about your product, talking about what you're doing. So it just shows that you know even I would say that authenticity that was so much talked about, like, it matters so much, because when it's a company employee, when it's a thought leader connected with the company, people would also, I would say, maybe have their doubts about it. But if it's a client talking about it, if it's somebody that's not necessarily connected to the service but has used it, that's even better for you. So yeah, we are just full on going back to authenticity when it comes to thought leader ads, to showing faces, to showing stories rather than showing some sort of boring stats. If you refer back to the article, I talk about it in detail, but basically, what is really important is the fact that by sharing these stories, by sharing these very organic looking posts, you are getting people to notice you more, especially as Emil mentioned, in this sort of robotic, very company driven, very sterile world that exists both. In organic company page development, as well as, if not even more, in that world. So yeah, turn to fault leader apps. I mean, in the article, you'll see a lot of different stats as well, like from LinkedIn themselves. They say, 1.5 more reach, 1.6 more engagement, numbers like that. There's also a survey about how much B2B thought leadership counts when making decisions for the people that will be deciding whether they want to use your service, company, product. So tune into the article. There's tons of more information. I just went over it briefly. So anyone that's interested into doing thought leader ads, yeah, I'm glad that you are, and I hope that I made a few more people interested.
Thank you, Dari. Actually, I would also encourage our listeners to suggest a topic for next time, because there are a lot of interesting themes for us. But after all, this is the format that is meant to be useful for you. So if you want to know something more about a particular topic, feel free to message us or leave a comment.
We actually have some comments
Oh,
currently on the live and two questions, actually. I will start with Ivana's one, as we discussed recently her first question about the paragraph 22. I'm quoting her. Well, I know this, but the problem is reaching those people in the first place. If the post doesn't reach the initial people who respond, so that the post reaches more people and eventually the right people, then I won't reach the right people. So a lot of time saying people in the comment. I hope that the listeners and the viewers are not overwhelmed by it. But yeah, what I can briefly say about this comment, not really question, is that LinkedIn is like a funnel. In the first stage of the funnel, you attract all the users that you can find on the platform who are interested in what you are saying. Then, in the second and the third stage of this funnel, the people who are really interested in you, in your like in your content, in your field of development, in your profession, they're going to stay, and eventually, at one point, either they're going to be your ideal perfect clients or they're going to attract those ideal perfect clients. Early velocity matters more than audience purity. This is what I can say, and this is what I personally believe. Do you have anything to add, Didi, Adari?
Um, no, I don't think that was a good comment. I wanted to say something for the previous comment about the need of controversy in our conversations. I have an urge to say that there is no need. If you have something controversial to say, because that's what you think, please feel free to share it, and it will look authentic. This word appears as much as I think, in our conversation, but that's because it is important. And if you are uh, controversial because of the controversy, because it's a must, it's definitely visible, and it even makes people go away from your profile. So yeah, that's my input on our lovely comments this time. Thank you very much.
We have one more actually, which is
Oh,
a bit more interesting in terms of the in terms of LinkedIn. Actually, is it possible the LinkedIn company to open an official representative office in Bulgaria if it still doesn't have such one? Yeah, as I said, it's a bit more specific. And could we contact and apply to the company to investigate and invest in such a business activity here in our country, in Bulgaria? The short answer is yes. The long answer is yes, but uh, opening an office in Bulgaria sounds wonderful, but um, hardly achievable. This is what I can say. I believe that the closest office to Bulgaria is in Poland, if I'm not mistaken. So you can definitely ask them in the support center or some other type of like form of contact, whether they are willing to do so, whether they want to open an office. But my personal opinion is that it's hardly possible. Dari, you laughed quite a lot on my comment here. Do you want to add something to the answer I gave for?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm literally Googling right now what are the European offices, where they are. So it's a bit hard to distinguish, but yeah, we have what we have, honestly, is I know their headquarters for Europe are all the way over in Dublin, and then
Hmm.
yeah, we just have a bunch of the very, very strong economies represented when it comes to the offices that they have. Um, Emil talked about an office in Poland. What is interesting, and here there is a bit of a debate because we know there's a very strong community in Poland. They are doing events. There are representative. Um, okay, and but what is interesting is apparently the only offices listed here seem to be at Dublin, Berlin, Madrid, Milan, Munich, Paris.
So Western
Yeah,
Europe.
I think the answer is in the question. Having a strong economy
Yeah.
defines the
Hmm.
searching for that service, and probably with the euro coming to Bulgaria,
Who knows?
that will change. But let's say it this way: we don't expect it in 2026.
Yeah, we don't expect it in 2026. True enough.
Actually, there is a company in Bulgaria who is represented, who represents LinkedIn. Pardon. Uh, it's Concentrix. They have customer support for advertising, for other sort of LinkedIn queries, but they're strongly limited. Like Concentrix is working closely with Microsoft, so therefore they're working over LinkedIn as well. But as Didi and Dar said, I believe that it's unrealistic for 2026 or the next 5 years.
Let's be positive.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway, one of the new things, Emo, any other comments? Because
No, we are way over the comments, and I think we can wrap it up eventually.
yeah, that was what I was going to say, that this year we are going to try to be a little bit more precise and concise. That was what I was taught in university. So I wish you a great January and whole 2026, and be happy. Leave your comments what's the next topic you want us to tackle, and bye.
Bye. See ya.
Bye, guys.